Fast bowling is actually pretty simple when you break it down and you understand the biomechanics that go in to delivering the ball with speed. It's so simple, in fact, that my stick figures should be able to give you a pretty good understanding of what it takes to bowl fast. It all starts in the run-up. The run-up is where we create momentum, and ideally we're going to create a lot of momentum, because the more momentum we have, the more potential energy we can put into the ball to then release it. The more potential energy, the quicker the ball speed. Now, there is an argument that you shouldn't run in too quick, because then you can't control yourself when you come to the delivery phase. My opinion on that is ultimately, from an S&C standpoint, our goal is to help you at these stages, which ultimately, if you run in quicker, you should, if you've prepared for those stages, be able to handle it. So my number one tip to fast bowlers, always, the most simple way to get better and quicker at bowling, is to improve your sprint speed, because ultimately when you're running in, you're not sprinting at 100%. You're probably running at about 80% of your sprint speed. So if you can improve your sprint speed and improve your max sprint speed from here to here, that means your 80% sprint speed improves from here to here. So without trying any harder in your run-up, you're running in quicker and you've got more momentum. Things we can do to improve our run-up and improve our sprint speed. The best exercise to improve your sprinting is sprinting, but with maximum intent. But of course, there are some exercises that we can do to complement that. An exercise that I really like is a wall switch. So a wall switch, you're at 45 degrees to the wall. You're working on really driving the ground away behind you, and you're working on a rapid change of your legs as you're pumping back and down through the floor. That's step one. So we've generated all this momentum in our run-up. Now we want to get to back foot contact. So back foot contact is when we've run in, we've jumped, and we've landed in that position. The goal at back foot contact is to maintain as much momentum from our run-up through to front foot contact. So this is a bit of a kind of a transfer between here and here. In order to maintain as much momentum as possible, we want to spend as little time here as possible. What that means is we don't want to have to collapse for our back knee. What you'll often see at back foot contact is bowlers collapsing through their back knee, their heel hits the floor, and when the heel hits the floor, the heel is essentially a break in the human body, and bending the knee is going to take time. Time costs energy. Energy costs momentum. So it's really important at back foot contact we can be really stiff and strong, so we spend as little time as possible there, so we can maintain as much energy, momentum as possible. The best exercises for back foot contact are pogos, skipping variations, but pogos are where you're basically hopping on the spot, very stiff knees, very strong heels and ankles, so you're trying not to let your heels drop, and you're trying not to let your knees bend, and you're trying to spend as little time on the floor as possible and jump as high as possible. After back foot contact, we then transfer into front foot contact. The goal of front foot contact is to stop our lower body as quickly as possible. The most efficient way to do this is by bracing our front leg. Bracing our front leg acts as a really strong brake. And if you imagine a catapult back in the olden days, they had a fixed point that everything flung over the top of, and it's the same theory here. So if our knee doesn't bend, some bowlers, you might see their knee bend, and whilst they can still bowl quick, it's not biomechanically the most efficient way to bowl quick, because bending the knee, similar to back foot contact, takes time. Time costs energy, energy costs momentum. So ideally, we can stop our lower body as quickly as possible. That then creates a fixed point for our upper body to fling over and release the ball. A really important muscle group for our front foot contact is our hamstrings. And an exercise I love for our hamstrings is a hamstring slide, where you're really controlling the lengthening of your hamstring. Not all exercises to help with front foot contact have to look like front foot contact. The same as all exercises for run-up and back foot contact don't have to necessarily look like those particular actions. But as long as we're working ultimately on our sprint speed, our Achilles and calf strength and ankle stability, and our lower body strength and ability to absorb force and not collapse, we're going to improve this whole phase of our bowling action, allowing us to get from here to here as efficiently as possible and bowl the ball with a lot of speed. If you've got any questions about any of that, drop them in the comments below and I'll answer them as quickly as possible. And if you're looking for an S&C program that works on all of this and it's already made for you, head to our website and we can sort you out.